Now, Commanders week, it's week 4. We got to flush that horrible loss. Zac Robinson, I'm looking at you. And don't ask what I have on the bonnet because it's damn near 10 o'clock. I'm ready to go to bed. I watched my film on the Commanders offense and defense, and I'm going to tell y'all what I got from it, because even with Jaden Daniels or Marcus Mariota playing, the offense is going to be the same. The defense is really intriguing. They get after the quarterback, all of that. But I still think we can win this game because they are a beatable team. We should have beat them last year, but they got away from us despite having, a terrible defensive showing in the second half. We were on them in the first half, but if we're just consistently good on defense, we're gonna win. And I don't worry about the defense, I worry about the offense now. And it's like we're back in 2023 once again, where the offense has to get on track. We gotta find some consistency. So let's go and get into the film, y'all. If y'all enjoyed this, be sure to like and subscribe for more. So let's go. Alright, this is the first play I want to show y'all, because no matter if JD or Mariota's in the game plan is going to be the same. Like, they do some of the same things. The difference is he's just a way better passer. Offense don't change, script don't change. They do the same stuff. And this is the first play I want to use because it just shows you how much you have to account for, especially when you get down towards the red zone, or the goal line rather. They're going to be doing read option, but they're going to be doing counter. So look, you're going to get your down blocks by your big boys up front, okay? These two guys are going to wrap. You're going to get your wrap, and then your lead blocker right here. He's going to go get this linebacker. Okay, typically you wouldn't bring him that close in, but since this is kind of like a nub tight end, remember, he's always in the run fit now. But anyways, once again, he's going to get this linebacker right here. You got your wrap to kick, wrap to lead. Remember, he's unblocked, so we're going to be reading him. You're going to get the counter action going this way, and JD has to either hand it off or keep it. And then you also could have an RPO action right here where they're going to go block, and he's going to do an arrow screen. Now, they didn't do it this play, but it just shows you how many moving parts it is in one play. So you see it unfold. He's going to bluff that block and get him to go bite down. He's reading this in. That's Abdul Carter, by the way. And look, he's going to ride that line as far as he can. Made him commit to JD, and he was able to bounce this out for an easy touchdown, okay? But look, you also see at the bottom of the screen, in case they wanted to pull it, he's blocking. You got 3 for 3, but you can still have that issue where instead of him going out to block, this is an arrow screen, and he catches that, and it's a free touchdown if you got the numbers. So that's probably like an alert or a check or something. But you see, once again, easy touchdown, because you got to account for so many things. So the first one was really talking about the run game, because they do like a lot of gap runs, and this is another gap run too. But once again, they're just so layered in their stuff where you gotta account for the gap run, you gotta account for the screen, gotta account for this guy's legs. So it's too much going on. But look, check this out. So this is a dual run right here. You're gonna get this motion across to be the tight end on this side. This guy's gonna come up and blitz. Is that Javon Holland? I think that's Javon Holland. He's gonna come up and blitz, okay? And what the tight end's gonna do, he's gonna influence him to take a wider angle, and he's gonna just climb immediately, okay? You're gonna get your blocks right here, the double team on the nose. You're gonna get the blocks out right here. They're gonna combo up to this guy. He's gonna end up falling though, but you're gonna see what it does. Their run game is so good that all this running back need, or all JD needs, is a little crease. You wanna see what I'm talking about? Look, and you see the holes created right there, because look, once again, this tight end, he's gonna influence Javon Holland to take a flatter, not a flatter, but a wider angle upfield, so he can't influence the run. And he's gonna seal off this pursuing linebacker, and boom, corner don't want to tackle, so he's gonna get out the way. And it's a long run just like that. So these safeties and these corners, they have to come, they're gonna force the safeties and the corners to come up and tackle, and that's what I like about their run game, because it's dynamic. It's something new. Granted, it's Cliff Kingsbury, but it is something new. Now, I've talked about their screen game just a little bit, but I'm finna talk about it in this place some more, because their screen package is crazy, okay? So you see Deebo Samuel, he's offset, but he has a wider split than usual. That should be a red flag, but defenses aren't really keying that because they have a million other things to look at, okay? But even then, Deebo Samuel in the backfield, you gotta know, they're gonna try to get him the ball or manufacture a touch for him. So look, they're going to motion this guy over across the formation, and they're pretty much gonna do I call it a slow screen, but you're just gonna pretty much overload the formation with 4 guys, okay? And you're gonna just swing it out to him, give him the ball in the flat, let him go get some yards, because Deebo Samuel's one of those guys where he's just not a pure receiver, but you get him the ball, he's gonna make things happen, kind of like a Cordell Patterson, right? Where he came out as a receiver, wasn't as successful, but when he just became that gadget guy, he was just really good. So look, I'm sure I'm talking about right here, where they really just take advantage of God, look at this. Corners don't want to tackle. And look, they're just gonna keep backing up. Remember when I said about Xavier Watson, Billy Bowman Jr. They don't necessarily back up. They just kind of sit there and wait for things to develop. So look, you're gonna see this screen develop, and they're gonna get the perfect angles on this. Not necessarily the perfect blocks either, but once again, all you need to hold these guys just for like a split second, and these guys are gonna be gone. But also notice Mariota's in the game because, like I said, the offense doesn't really change with who's at quarterback because they have the same skill set. JD's just a way better passer. Okay, so I like their screen game too. They probably call screens the most in the league, and that's not necessarily a bad thing because like the type of offense they run is crazy efficient. So yeah, and so now I want to talk about some pass plays that I see come up like fairly a good amount, and it's nothing. Once again, it's nothing really crazy, but it's just they run it so much that it's just effective because you can't expect the defense to be perfect every single play. So it's a very common concept teams run. They still run it today. It's called Hank, where you're gonna get these curls on the outside by these number one receivers. You're gonna get both of these guys are gonna be chipping. They're gonna be releasing into the flat. Okay. It's pretty much a mirrored concept basically. And then you're gonna have this tight end sit over the ball. Fairly simple concept right here. It should be like day one install for every team because it's so easy to read. So if you get a middle field close where you're gonna get cover 3, so let's just drop cover 3 right here. We got our 3 deep, our curl flat, our hook curl, curl flat. The defender you're gonna be reading this situation is gonna be these curl flat defenders right here because the weakness of cover 3 is the flat. So if you want to stress out these defenders right here, so let me go ahead and just erase this real quick. In this situation, the curl flat defender would be this guy right here. Remember, I always say defenders are supposed to play curl through the flat, right? Sometimes they just immediately get depth, or somebody they just widen immediately, which is going to open up that curl window because the curl window is going to be open. Remember, these corners, they have a deep third responsibility, so that means they're going to be bailing. So we call this free access. So that means anything underneath them, which is this, for example, is going to be open. Okay. Now what we actually get is a 2 deep defense, which is cover 2. So you're going to get, our 2 deep safeties right here. Oh my God. Let me fix that. You're going to get your flat corners. You're going to get your hook to seams, and you're going to get your middle run through or pole runner. Okay. And in this situation with a 2 deep coverage, you're supposed to at least hold the coverage a little bit and then hit this guy over the middle. You have to beat the backer. I said this before. So you have to beat him to the spot, and you're gonna see what I'm talking about. Like, but with Mariota, he will stare down this target all day and all night, and y'all know this because he's been on the team. But look at this, he's staring him down the whole way. Okay, and you see easy pitch and catch, but that window is tighter than what it needs to be because he's staring it down. Okay, so we could probably take advantage of that because he will throw over the middle and he will stay down his target. So I'm gonna show y'all another example of this. Now this is last year when he had to take over for JD because he got hurt. So in this situation, we're actually getting our 3 deep, curl flat, hook curl, curl flat, 3 deep, 4 underneath. And remember, like I said, this is a mirror concept. So we're gonna get the same thing on both sides, but we're gonna throw right here. So other stuff really doesn't matter. He's gonna go sit over the ball and he's gonna go into the flat. Remember, you're reading this curl flat defender right here. And we're assuming with bailing corners, this should be open. So you're going to see what I'm talking about. This is doing a 2-minute drive as well. So look, you're going to see the coverage are going to rotate. He's going to go to the deep middle. You still have your outside thirds. And once again, remember what I said about JC last week. You can get everything underneath him because he's not going to give that up, or he's going to give it up. And you see what I'm talking about? Easy pitch and catches because, like, come on, man. And if you also look at the curl flat defender right here, remember how I said usually they immediately expand to the flat, okay? And so you see how he's chipping, he's going out into the flat right now. He's expanding with that immediately because he just doesn't really care to play curl through the flat and help his corners out. He doesn't really care that much to do that. So you see easy pitch and catch by Mariota because also look. He's gonna look over there the entire way and just sit up there, pat the ball, and get ready to throw it. I don't know how these guys didn't like at least move with his eyes. So this is one of their main concepts they like to run. So if they in this formation, they will be running this. Now they probably got like a lot of package plays off of this, but I'm just saying this is probably one of their base plays from out of this formation. All right, and now I'm gonna show y'all like how everything comes together because when you have the threat of the quarterback run, you have the gap scheme stuff, and then you also take out the fact or know the fact that they throw over the middle of the field a lot. You're gonna see how it all comes together. So what they're doing here, they're gonna be doing a play action pass. So you're gonna have these 2 guys wrap around, and in my opinion, play action is so good when you get when you pull linemen across the formation because once again, if you see a lineman pull as a linebacker, you gotta go. You gotta feel, okay? Nick Saban even said, gap scheme RPOs are hard to defend because it messes with the keys of the linebackers. And where you mess with the keys of the linebackers like this, man, it is hell in a cell, basically. So you're gonna get these guys. They're gonna pretty much essentially down block. He's gonna come out and be like a right tackle, essentially, okay? And you're gonna fake this run, and they're gonna set up. He's gonna set up the block as well. Okay. As far as route concept, what we're gonna be getting just simple Yankee. So you're gonna get a deep cross right here. I probably shouldn't do this in blue because you really can't see it. Okay, but anyways, you have a deep cross in a post route. This guy's gonna act like he's blocking. He's gonna get out into the flat. Okay. It's like, come on, bro. This offense is so good. You're gonna see how it comes together too, because once again, that threat of the gap scheme read option, where he's gonna act like he's reading this and he's just gonna keep it. Okay, look at that. You have these guys just sitting in mud essentially. He's gonna come all the way up, take him out of position, and now, oh shit, it's a pass. Now he's just covering grass. He's coming down from depth. He really can't do nothing about it. But look at this. Like, even then, a second reaction play, that's gonna be the thing with both quarterbacks regardless. Okay, you're gonna see they're gonna evade the pressure and he's just gonna roll out. I don't know why he threw this, but it worked out. Mariota makes some dumb decisions, but sometimes it works out. But you're gonna see at its core the main concept. Like, look at this Yankee concept. Look, pull the lineman around, and it's actually blocked up pretty well because it's really hard to block when you're doing a gap. When you're doing gap protection and play action, it's really hard to block up. But you see, they block it up just fine. Now he does get flushed out a little bit later on, but hey, like, their offense is so fun to watch, bro. It's so fun to watch. Now, one thing about their defense, they do like a lot of coverage rotations, and I think it comes like from, Dallas, where Dan Quinn was doing like a lot of this stuff in down personnel, where it was like a lot of scheme versatilities. Let me move this out the way. So look, one of the coverages they like to run is Tampa 2, but they also do something like where they get into it different ways, where it's called a non-traditional Tampa. So that means at its core, where I'm gonna just draw it up right here, so because this is not an ideal look, where you have, forget the front. You're gonna have your corners playing in the flat right here. You're gonna have your deep safeties. Okay, they're gonna be getting off the hash playing deep halves. Okay, corners are gonna be in the flat. You're gonna have your linebacker. Well, I'm gonna put a nickel right here. You're gonna put your wheel linebacker right. They're gonna be playing hook to seam. Okay, and then your Mike, he's gonna be the pole runner or the middle run through. So let's say the strength of the formation is on this side of the field right here. Okay, he's gonna open up and get down the middle of the field that way. So he's gonna be facing this side while he's getting depth. Okay, and just like quick trivia thing, a way to attack this type of defense is you can force him to open up this way, and you can run something right behind him because his back is turned that way. Okay, you can do something like that because it happened to us when we were playing Minnesota last year, where we were in Tampa 2. We opened up Troy this way. We hit a dig right behind him because he wasn't even looking at it. But that's essentially a Tampa 2. Now, a non-traditional Tampa means they're going to get into it in different ways. So, the traditional guys playing their original zones is not going to be there. So if we draw it up right now where we get, damn, that's ugly. 2 deep halves, our flats, our hook seams, and then our middle run through right here. You're going to see what happens. He's still going to be hit. The corner's still going to be the flat players, okay? This guy right here, he's going to haul ass to the deep half, okay? He's going to be the middle run through. You would rather have a safety doing that. He's going to bail out into a deep half, okay? And then this guy right here, he's going to sprint out that way, okay? Bobby Wagner's going to be right here. So this is their non-traditional Tampa, where they just have a lot of chaos on the back end going on, right? And it's up to Mike to figure that out. Now, we did see him get rattled with coverage rotation, so it kind of scares me what they do because, Mike can get fooled pretty easily at this point. Apparently he can get fooled. So look, well, he is human. That can happen. So look, you're going to see what happens. It's a quick throw and catch, but as you can see they're rotating. You could probably argue, no, this is cover 3. They're just clouding the corners. Nah, they do this where they're going to keep that safety in the middle and throw them off because Detroit does it. The 49ers do it. So this is one of the ways you can get into Tampa 2 with still holding that one eye look and keeping a safety deep because you want to protect your linebackers from having to run deep down the field. Okay. Now, just because they run non-traditional Tampas, that doesn't mean they don't call regular Tampa 2. And I want to turn y'all attention to one of these guys, Mikey Sainristil, the guy that picked off MPJ in the national championship, okay? Because he's the guy we can attack in coverage, okay? I don't know why we didn't attack Morig last week. We kind of got away from the run. I don't know why. That was pretty stupid to have Bijan under 15 carries, but this is what they're going to be doing offensively. They're going to pretty much be doing switch verts. So they're going to motion Savion Thomas across the formation, okay? He's going to just be running right down the field, okay? You're going to have, can't see his full number, but he's going to be running a crossing route. 85 is going to be running a seam, okay? Then you're pretty much going to just have him running up the field, right? He's out of bounds, but you get the point. Now, defensively, once again, they're in their Tampa 2 look, their base coverage, basically. But they are a heavy man-to-man team. So, look, you're going to get our 2 deep safeties, middle run through, flat, hook seam. Keep that in mind, hook seam, flat. Okay, doesn't matter who's in it, but you just know the coverage distribution. Okay, now let's turn our attention once again to Mikey Sanders, because he's the one playing the hook seam in this coverage, and this is all his fault. So you're gonna see he's gonna run, his wheel route basically. You're also gonna get, flat control right here. For one, I don't know why Mikey Sanders is looking at this. I don't know why he's looking at that, because that's not your responsibility. That's the corner, man. Now, maybe earlier in the game they did some kind of swing screen, because I didn't watch the full game from start to finish, right? Maybe they did like a swing screen right here where they're gonna do it like this and have him go block the most dangerous man on the inside, or first inside. So maybe they packaged a play off of this. But even then, bro, if you didn't see this earlier in the game, why are you triggering so far downhill? Because now look at Tucker Kraft. He's running right behind you into a vacated space, which you were supposed to carry him into, okay? And let's look at this. He's just going to completely ignore him. I don't know why he's ignoring him. Like, that was such a terrible play by him, and he's one of the worst guys in coverage. Now, if we do pull up their entire, let's pull it up. Now, if we pull up, their guys that are in coverage the most, you're going to see what I'm talking about. These guys cannot cover a lick, okay? Quan Martin, 30 coverage grade. Mikey Sanders, 43 coverage grade. The only 2 guys that are good is Bobby Wagner, Will Harris, who's slightly above average, and then Trent Amos, a guy that I wanted in the draft. But you see, for the most part, these guys are free eats, and we gotta take advantage of that. Like, overall, they have a 37-something coverage grade, as a team. So please take advantage of this. Zach, we need a bounce back game from you. Like, this is all we want. Now, one thing I do find interesting about this defense is that they run something people normally don't run anymore. And what I'm referring to is cover 4. So we already know cover 4 is quarters, palms, all of that, right? But they run traditional cover 4. Okay, now they put some modern twist into it, okay, where you're still going to get your quarters across the deep part of the field, okay, and you're still going to get your 3 underneath defenders, right? But the way they play it is kind of crazy, because once again, it's a traditional quarter, so you're going to still have just guys just built into their deep quarter of the field, but they're going to modify it a little bit, because look, it is a 1x4, so you have 1 right here, and you're going to have 4 on this side, okay? How do you defend that? A lot of teams don't know how to confidently defend it, okay? So what they do is they're going to have this guy right here be a trick safety or a post safety, which means, once again, anything coming across the middle of the field, hey, that's me, I'm going to take it, and I'm going to run with it, okay? That's how you kind of mitigate guys trying to attack the middle of the field, because if 3 goes across, 2 is probably going to be coming in, and we already know number 2 is this guy's responsibilities, okay? So that means he can play this in cut more aggressively without having to worry about getting horizontally stretched between these 2, because he knows he has inside help on this crossing route, okay? Which is going to kind of leave him on an island for like any third end breaker, but you really don't see 3 end breakers out of a 4x1. That's kind of stupid. But look, you're going to see what I'm talking about, how these guys, they just pretty much play a traditional cover 4. Look at this. They're just going to be bailing, and once again, he's going to stay a little bit lower because he is playing poach, but this is kind of crazy how you really don't see this a lot in the league. And you got cover 4, you got cover 4 quarters, you got 4 lock. Like, I don't see traditional cover 4 like that. That's kind of, hey, this defense is intriguing as well. So, hey, man, let's talk about this game. I do think we can win this game. It's not a losable game where it's kind of like the Bills, or I don't see us having a real chance of winning like we're playing the Bills or something like that. But, all things considered, that is a decent defense. They're number 1 in pressure rate. They get after the quarterback. But after that, it's like that defense is gettable, just like the Panthers defense. It was gettable, but Zac Robinson called it a terrible game, his second terrible game in 3 weeks, and honestly been an average play caller in my opinion. The defense, I'm just not worried about anymore. That's kind of crazy to say. I know the defense is going to do their job, especially if Mariota's playing. We're definitely going to have a good day defensively, because, like, come on, man, it's Mariota. We can't let Mariota come back in the MBS and beat us, but I'm worried about the offense. Zac Robinson, you have to get your shit together, because that cannot be another bad game, especially a game where we put up 0 points and you're being predictable as shit. We won a game by running for 200 yards. Why did you come out and call 10 passes in the first 15? Like, I understand you admit you were trying to be too complicated, but bro, you're beating yourself. Like, come on, man. But anyways, final score prediction, I'll probably say 21-24 us. Right, I think the offense gets back on track a little bit. Micah had 2 touchdowns. Bijan will have his 1. But yeah, I think we get back on track. We win 24-21. So that's my prediction. So I'll see y'all later next video. Goodbye. If y'all liked it, enjoyed it, subscribe, all that. Cool. I might stream this weekend, so be on the lookout for that.